Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chet Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamti Nashtaprayeshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 29, Krishna and the gopis meet for the Ras dance. So we started text 15 yesterday and we'll continue with the purport of that text. And the translation is, persons who constantly direct their lust, anger, fear, protective affection, feeling of impersonal oneness or friendship toward Lord Hari are sure to become absorbed in thoughts of him. And once become absorbed means then he is ready for liberation. So here Srila Madhvacharya's commentary has been cited here, quoted here. But many acharyas, Sanatana Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jiva Goswami, they have written elaborate commentaries on these verses to make sure we understand the position of gopis, position of Krishna, and this most sweet pastime of Ras Leela. This is a prelude to the Ras Leela. So we don't misunderstand it, and if we mistake it, then our spiritual life is doomed actually. If you think gopis are just ordinary lusty women and Krishna is just a lusty teenager. No, not at all. And if it was not that important, there was no need for all these great self-realized acharyas to give elaborate commentaries on this. They're not going to write some pornographic material, some pornographic novel. No way. And these gopis, as it is said, they are completely spiritual, completely above any material tinge of desires. Nothing, not at all. Still they had to go through purification to enter Ras Leela. That Ras Leela which is not even available for Lakshmi ji. Even Shivji wanted to enter Ras Leela. He was not allowed. He cannot enter. Even though he took a form of a gopi, of a lady, still he was not allowed. So that Ras Leela, where not just anybody and everybody is allowed. Like in English, they say every Tom, Dick, or Harry is not allowed. Narad Muni was not allowed. Narad Muni took the form of Nardi, a gopi. He was not allowed. No. You stay outside, you write Narad Bhakti Sutra. Not come. Shivji was only allowed as a protector of the kshetra of Ras Leela. That's about it. And obviously he was in bliss even doing that service for the gopis. So that particular pastime, there's no way there is any tinge, even some small spark of material lust or material desire in that pastime. No way. Anyway, so let's read further. Srila Madhvacharya then quotes from the Padma Puran to clarify the essential point that one cannot be liberated simply by lusting after Lord Krishna, but rather only by possessing conjugal attraction and pure devotional service. The demigods are always affectionately devoted to the Lord, and the young ladies of heaven, called Apsaras, have lusty feelings towards him. Although some of them have pure devotion for him, untainted by material lust. Only these latter Apsaras, who had no material lust, are ready for liberation, because without bona fide devotional service, one cannot possibly achieve liberation. Thus, devotional service is not yogyam or appropriate unless free from material lust. One should not take cheaply the gopis' achievement of personal association with Lord Krishna in a conjugal relationship. To show the gravity of direct relationship with the Lord, Srila Madhvacharya has quoted the following verses from the Varaha Purana. The goddess Lakshmi worships Lord Janardhan as her husband. Lord Brahma worships him as his father. And the other demigods worship him as a grandfather. Thus, people in general should think the Supreme Lord is my great-grandfather. Lord Vishnu is a spiritual master of Brahma, and as the guru of the demigods. Brahma is a spiritual master of the universe, and Vishnu is eternally worshipable deity. With this understanding and not otherwise, one should worship the Lord. In fact, that is the reason Prabhupada, what did he tell us? His instructions were, you're not qualified to worship Radha Krishna. So worship them in the mood of Lakshmi Narayana, not as Radha Krishna. It's a very high form of worship. We can worship Gaurnitai. Gaurnitai, yes, they are Patita Pavana Hetu Tavavatara. They don't mind offenses. We cannot commit offenses. They are ready to give their mercy to each and everybody. Lord Jagannath, we can worship. But Radha Krishna worship, in the mood of worshipping them as Radha Krishna, in the mood of gopis, we are not there. And that's why here it is said, Vishnu is eternally worshipable deity. With this understanding and not otherwise, one should worship the Lord. The above injunctions apply to Sarvajana, all people in general. Thus, one should follow these injunctions until one achieves the exalted platform of intimate relationship with the Supreme Lord. There is abundant evidence that the gopis of Vrindavan were highly elevated, liberated souls, and thus their pastimes with Krishna are pure spiritual affairs. Keeping this in mind, we can truly understand this chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And with this understanding of the position of gopis and understanding our position, how fallen we are, how fallen we are. So we have to behave accordingly also. Not thinking, oh, I have become liberated, or I have become very, very pure and I can do whatever I want to, or I think like gopis. I'm starting to behave like manjaris or gopis. No, that is sentimentalism. There is no bhav. It's only bhavukta. Huge difference between bhav and bhavukta. Bhav is a beginning stages of love. And the Rupa Goswami has told us in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, starts from faith, Shraddha, then Sadhu Sangha, then Bhajan Kriya, then Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, then Bhav, then Prem. We're not in what is our bhajan kriya? Just because we are chanting not chanting. Actually, we should not even saying that. Is somehow completing our 16 rounds. We don't chant. We somehow complete our rounds. So where is anartha nivritti? All the anarthas, kam, krodh, lobh, moh, mad, matsarya are inside our heart. I mean, they're just filled up to the brim of our heart. So much of anartha, so many anarthas. So what's the question of coming to the level of nishtha? And ruchi, taste, asakti, complete attachment? Not yet. Process is the same. There is no other way to get to it. But we have to make our devotion service, our sadhana, bhajan kriya, very, very, very strong. Then we can get some mercy by which we can make progress. And Rupa Goswami only talks about this, bhav and prema. In a book called Ujjwal Nilamani, further steps are mentioned. We can't even imagine there could be anything further than that. And these gopis, they are further down. Bhav, prem, then rag, then something else. I'm forgetting all those steps myself. Anurag, then this rag, that rag. There's so many other steps. And then the topmost is, which only Srimati Radharani has for Krishna. Nobody can attain that. That Radharani, that's her personification of that bhav. So that's a step where the gopis are. Those are the steps, I mean, just below Radharani, wherever those steps. That's where gopis are. How can we even think that these gopis can have any mundane material lust in their heart for Krishna? And in the beginning stages only, anartha nivritti has to happen when one can make further progress. In Madhurya Kadamini, there is a book, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains different stages of removal of these anarthas. And different types of anarthas he has mentioned. Only at those stages of bhav and prem, not even going further beyond. Only on those stages, at the stage of prema, the anarthas are absolutely gone, with no chance of them coming back ever. Even at the stage of bhav, because it is mentioned. Who was at the stage of bhav? Bilmangal Thakur, Bharat Maharaj, when he got distracted by the deer, he was at the stage of bhav. Bilmangal Thakur was at the stage of bhav in the previous life, when he got distracted and he had to come back again and then again. His guru came as a prostitute, Chintamani, who chastised him. And then he came to Vrindavan, he came to his senses. And what he had to go through, he had to pluck his own eyes. Because with these eyes, he saw a lady and he got attracted towards her. But Krishna's mercy, he came to his senses before he could do anything nonsense. He just asked that, Mataji, just give me your hairpin. That's all I want. And she said, okay, here. And he just plucked out his eyes. Can you imagine? Plucking out own eyes? Somebody plucks out his own eyes. He said, because of these eyes, I cannot control my mind. I just got distracted by your beauty. He was at the stage of bhav in the previous life and he fell down. And these gopis are way beyond this level of prema that we talk about. This is a level of gopis. That's why their love, their service, their mood, their devotion for Krishna is just nobody can understand, nobody can explain. And that's why the 9 processes of devotion service, when we talk about Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Dasyam, Sakyam, then comes Atma Nivedanam, and the gopis represent that Atma Nivedanam. Complete surrender. Even at the mood of Dasyam and Sakyam, it's not complete. Only the gopis did that. And to do what? To give pleasure to Krishna. That's it. That's their only mood. That's their only thought. That's their only life. That's it. So these gopis, when they are coming to meet Krishna at Vanchi Vat, where Krishna is playing on his flute in the middle of the night, so we have to understand it properly. That what is their mood? Na chavam vismaya karya bhavata bhagavati ache yogeshwareshware Krishna yat edat vimuchyate. You should not be so astonished by Krishna. Shukdev Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj, the unborn master of all masters of mystic power, the supreme personality of Godhead. After all, it's the Lord who liberates this world. Parikshit Maharaj should not have been so astonished that Lord Krishna's so-called romantic affairs are in fact meant to liberate the entire universe. After all, that is the Lord's purpose, to bring all conditioned souls back home, back to Godhead, for an eternal life of bliss and knowledge. The Lord's conjugal affairs with the gopis fit in very nicely with that program, because we who are actually lusty in material consciousness can be purified and liberated by hearing of them. So the lusty desires that we have in our heart, that can be purified if we hear properly from a proper source and with the proper frame, in the proper frame of mind, Krishna's pastimes, so-called romantic affairs with the gopis. See, it's our so-called. It's not actually that mundane romance. It's not there, not at all. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni states, "O good soul, does not a thing applied therapeutically cure a disease that was caused by that very same thing? Thus, Krishna's romantic affairs, being pure spiritual activities, will cure those who hear about them of the disease of the material lust." But then again, we have to hear from the right source, from the right person. Then it will be gone. Otherwise, it can increase the lusty desires in our hearts. Tadrishtvantikam antik mayata bhagwan vraja yoshita avad dad vadatam shreshto vacha peshar vimohayam. Seeing that the girls of Raja had arrived, Lord Krishna, the best of speakers, greeted them with charming words that bewildered their minds. Having established the spiritual nature of Gopi's love for Krishna, Shukdev Goswami proceeds with this narration. Shri Bhagwan Vacha. Again, Shukdev Goswami is not saying Krishna Vacha, Shri Bhagwan Vacha, to make sure we understand who is speaker. Swagatam vo mahabhaga priyam kim karvani va vrajasya namayam kaschit Druta Gamana Karanam. Lord Krishna said, "O most fortunate ladies, welcome. What may I do to please you? Is everything well in Braj? Please tell me the reason of your coming here." See, Krishna is not easy to be pleased. Not easy that he will just accept service of everybody. Lord Krishna knew perfectly why the gopis had come. In fact, he had called them with the romantic melodies of his flute. So Krishna was simply teasing the gopis by asking them, why have you come here so quickly? Somebody's mic got unmuted. Is something wrong in town? Why have you come here anyway? What do you want? The gopis were Krishna's young lovers, and therefore these questions certainly bewildered them, for they had responded to Krishna's call with the simple mentality of enjoying conjugal love with him. Rajanyesha ghora rupa ghora sattva nishevita pratiyata vrajam neha stheyam stribhi sumadhyama. This night is quite frightening, and frightening creatures are lurking about. Return to Vraja, slender-waisted girls. This is not proper place for women. See, even if somebody puts a blame of Krishna, here Krishna is telling them, you go back. Why are you here? What are you doing here? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has written the following charming commentary on this verse. The gopis thought, alas, alas, even after shattering our family responsibilities, our sobriety and our shame and enjoying us day after day, and after now dragging us here by the sound of his flute, he is asking us why we have come. As the gopis cast sidelong glances at one another, the Lord said, if you try to tell me that you have come to get night blooming flowers to use in the worship of God, and that it is these flowers you're looking at with your sidelong glances, I will have to reject your excuse as unacceptable, since neither the time, place, or persons involved are appropriate. Because what he meant to say is that, okay, so you might have come to take this night blooming flowers, but it's not right, because at night, you're not supposed to pick flowers. And there could be poisonous creatures around the flowers, around the plants. They might bite you, not the right time. This is Lord's meaning in the verse beginning, Rajani. He might have said, even though there is abundant moonlight, this time of night is very fearsome because many snakes, scorpions, and other dangerous creatures, too small for you to see, are lying beneath the creepers, roots, and twigs. Therefore, this time is unsuitable for gathering flowers. And not only the time, but also this place is unsuitable for you to gather flowers, because at night, terrible creatures such as tigers are brought here. Therefore, you should go back to Braja. But the gopis may object. Let us just rest for a few moments and then we will go. Then the Lord might reply, women should not remain in this kind of place. In other words, because of the time and place, it is wrong for persons like yourselves to stay here even for a moment. Furthermore, by the word sumadhyama, or slender-waisted ones are not implied. You are beautiful young girls and I am a beautiful young boy. Because you are all very chaste and I am a brahmachari, as confirmed by the words Krishna brahmachari in the Shruti. There should be no fault in our being in the same place. Nonetheless, the mind can never be trusted, neither yours nor my own. So, again, Acharyas have made sure that we understand the right mood before we jump to any conclusions. The following statement by Krishna is based on an alternative meaning of the words derived when the Sanskrit words are separated in a different way. He might have said, the pervasive moonshine has made this night appear not at all fearsome, and therefore this forest is populated by harmless creatures such as deer, or else by animals such as tigers that are harmless because of Vrindavan's naturally non-violent atmosphere. Consequently, this night should not frighten you, or else Krishna may have meant, you should not be afraid of your own husbands and other relatives, because the night being populated by fearsome animals, they will not come near this place. Therefore, please do not go back to Braja, but stay here in my company. So it just depends what gopis understand from these shlokas. The gopis may ask the Lord, how are you staying here? The Lord answers, with women. But are you satisfied to keep just any women in your company? The Lord replies to this with the word sumadhyama, meaning only women who are young and beautiful, who have slender waists, namely yourselves, should stay here with me and not others. Thus, we can appreciate that Krishna's statements are full of considerate as well as neglectful sentiments. Krishna's words are certainly brilliant because according to the rules of Sanskrit grammar, they may be understood in either of two opposite ways. The first case is translated above. Lord Krishna continues to tease the gopis by telling them the night is dangerous and inauspicious and they should go home. But Krishna is simultaneously saying exactly the opposite, namely that there is absolutely no reason for the gopis to fear coming to the Lord. Thus, Krishna simultaneously teases and enchants the gopis with his words. And that is why in the shloka, or previously shloka, it is said he's the best of the speakers. So this is Krishna, and that is why every scripture, every shloka, especially these where we can come up with some wrong meanings, we have to learn from the correct acharyas. And professional speakers, whenever they pick up these verses, first they don't establish Krishna's position, Gopi's position. They just want to talk about, oh, Krishna did that with the gopis and did this with the gopis. And people, when they're listening to all this, they don't understand it properly. They just take it in a wrong way. And it's not good for them, not good for the speaker either. So we got to be very, very careful. Anyway, so we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments? Okay, so you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.